Welcome to the Illinois Association for College Admissions Counseling Virtual College. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/Illinois. And now I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter from Wentworth Institute of Technology. Take it away.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Pete Nelson. I'm an admissions counselor here at Wentworth. I'm just going to share my screen with you. If you can't see that, let me know. So just a little about Wentworth. We are located right in Boston, as you can see from this first slide here. We are one of the colleges of the Fenway. If you've been to Boston before, it's really cool, small city, just absolutely packed with colleges and universities. We're in a consortium of 5 schools all down one street. So you could take classes in any of those. We also share some clubs, intramural social events. So even though we're a smaller school, we're about 4,500 students, but with this consortium, it kind of makes it feel like a larger school. To pull up our majors here. So this is a list of our majors, and there's 2 master's programs on here, 4+1s. We also added a couple of engineering 4+1 master's degrees if you wanted to stay for your master's. So all of these majors, as you can see, heavy STEM focused majors, they all follow a hands-on project-based curriculum. We are a school where you have to apply to a major. We don't have an undecided option, but what's great about that, you're in these classes every major right away, your freshman year, right when you get there. You have use of all the labs and maker spaces on campus, you get to use all the machinery and everything right when you get there. Your first 2 years, it gives you a good solid foundation. So by the time you get to your junior year, that's when you go on co-op. So every major requires 2 co-ops. So what a co-op is, it's a full semester of your working full time. So you're not in class for these semesters. You do 1 semester your junior year and 1 semester your senior years. So all co-ops are paid. It's a great way to get real experience. It's really going to help you. So when you're looking at colleges, you definitely want to think about return of investment. So Wentworth is a school that's going to make sure you have a job right when you graduate, whether it be with the co-op company that you work with, or just having that experience to help you get a career quickly from graduation. So on this slide is just a small list of companies where our students go work for their co-op semesters. Co-ops are done all over the country. You have a co-op advisor that's going to help you in your search for your co-op. Some students even go abroad, but it's not up to, you're not by yourself trying to find a company to work for. You do have a designated co-op advisor that's going to help you through it. Like I said, we are right in Boston. 2 subway lines come right to campus. If you've been to Boston before, it's a really fun city. We are doing in-person tours right now, so if you want to come visit, you can take a trip. We do have housing right on campus, which is always a good question to ask city schools. Housing is guaranteed all 4 years, even in your co-op semester. So although you're not in class, you can live on campus for those extra co-op semesters. We have freshman housing style, traditional or suite style, and then upperclassmen housing, which is kind of apartments. So tell you a little bit about our application requirements. We're on the Common App if you want to use the Common App, or there's one on our website. To complete your application would be you'd send us your transcripts, at least 1 letter of recommendation from a teacher or guidance counselor, list any extracurricular activities you could think of. There is an application fee, but feel free to send me an email and I'd be happy to, it's a $50 application fee, but feel free to send me an email. I'd be happy to share with you a fee waiver code. We are test optional, which I know it's certainly important. This year, it's been tough to take the SATs, ACTs. We were test optional though before the pandemic. So if you took either SAT or ACT and you want to send us your scores, you can, but we are test optional. You don't have to. And then there's an additional information section, which you can put anything you want your counselor who's going to be reading your application to see, whether that be myself or one of the other counselors. That's when you want to put any information that you whoever's reading your application might not see just from your transcripts and application. So I'd say, to take away anything from Wentworth, I would say if you really like that hands-on project-based curriculum, and then definitely if you want to be working full-time in your field for those 2 semesters, like I said, making sure that return of investment's coming back to you. The co-op program is an awesome way to make sure you have that job quickly. So I'd say what really the biggest draw to Wentworth is that hands-on project-based, and then the co-ops and being right in the city of Boston, which is a really fun city to be in. And thanks again, and I'll post my email address in the chat. If anyone has any questions, feel free to send me an email.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from John, Hopkins University.
Thank you very much. Evening, everybody. Thank you for being with us. I'm just going to pull up my screen share really quickly here and swap over our slides. And should be able to see that now. Like Pete as well, if you're unable to see mine, please let me know. But my name is Jeremy Parks. I am your regional admissions representative here at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, just to share a couple of quick bits about who we are and what we do. So Hopkins was founded in 1876. We're the nation's first research institution. So we were the very first school in the United States to put research at the forefront of what we do. It's a very big part of our identity. We still see research impacting our students' trajectories here on campus fairly regularly. We see about 80% of our students engaging in research during some time of their undergraduate career. We'll talk about research again in just a moment as well. But with that research philosophy, we also are very much a liberal arts institution. So you have that well-rounded understanding of academics. Here at Hopkins, that looks like the fact that we have no core curriculum. So there are no classes that every student is required to take here on campus. It is entirely up to you what your academic path looks like. We also have a lot of academic flexibility here on campus. So when you apply to Hopkins, with the exception of our biomedical engineering major, you are not applying to a major or to a college here. So you'll see the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences and the Whiting School of Engineering on the bottom. Those are not applications directly to the school. So although you'll indicate a first interest major with us when you apply, when you get to campus, you're not declared, you're not held to anything, and you have full fluidity. So if you apply in arts and sciences, decide to move to engineering, that is perfectly acceptable as well. You're also benefiting from all of these other entities that are a part of the Hopkins network that exist both in Baltimore as well as within the greater DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So that includes things like our School of Medicine, School of Public Health. Both are here in Baltimore with us. Both are #1 or #2 in the world, depending on what you look at in their field. Looking at the School of Advanced International Studies in downtown Washington, DC, that is a brand new facility for us as well that is headquartered out of the museum. Really exciting stuff there too. And you have the opportunity to engage with all of that. Likewise, you also have the opportunity to take on as many majors or minors as you want. We see about 60 to 70% of our graduating students with at least a double major or double minor. It again is entirely up to you. It can be 1 in engineering, 1 in arts and sciences, vice versa. Have 2 in 1, whatever that may be for you. We want you to tell us what that is. And then those classrooms are really intimate as well. Student to faculty ratio is about 7 to 1. 3/4 of your classes are going to be fewer than 20 students. So you really are getting into some intimate classroom spaces where you're going to have the opportunity to not only get to know your professors really well, but your peers really well too. Thinking about those opportunities outside of the classroom, this is where research comes in. So not only are we the first research institution in the United States, we're also the biggest spender on research every year out of any school in the United States. So we have had that title for 40 years running now. Last year, we spent $2.56 billion on research funding. It is an incredible sum of money, but basically guarantees you the opportunity to have free open access to research from your first day on campus. As a supplement to that as well, we do also have opportunities like study abroad and internships that are in addition to your classroom work, opportunities for professional development. That picture in the bottom left is of one of our branch campuses that is a part of Hopkins, and that is in Bologna, Italy. We also have one in Nanjing, China as well that are direct Hopkins affiliates, but hundreds of programs and opportunities to work with partner universities around the world as well. On-campus student life, we have about 400 different student groups. They are all student-led, student-initiated. We really want to see in your application that you are someone who is not only strong in the classroom, but is also capable of getting outside and building an important part of our campus community. So looking at those photos, they range all across the board from performing arts to cultural affinity groups to athletics and outdoors groups. If there's not something here that you want to start, all you need is a couple of friends and a faculty advisor. Officially have a club, you have funding. We see a lot of those clubs cropping up. That's why we have over 400 of them. Despite the fact that our campus is fairly small overall, we only have about 5,300 undergraduate students to share between these 400 different student organizations. So opportunities for you to get involved in small groups too. We also love the city that we're located in here in Baltimore. So it is a really fun, vibrant, young city. Much like Boston in the last presentation, there are also a cluster of colleges and universities located here in Baltimore. So there's always stuff going on, whether that be on our end of downtown, on the north side of downtown Baltimore, or a little bit further to the south in downtown. Here is our harbor front down in the harbor on the Chesapeake Bay. So there are opportunities for you around the city to get involved. Another thing is a Midwest student, somebody who grew up in the Midwest and then came to the East Coast. You also have an incredible accessibility to other cities here on the East Coast as well. So being able to reach places like Philadelphia and DC in under an hour, being able to get to New York City in a couple of hours by train. All of these were things that I never had access to before I came to the East Coast, and things that I think are worth considering as well when thinking about your opportunities to branch out. So moving on, just to talk quickly before we wrap up about our application process, we are an early decision and regular decision school. So early decision is that binding agreement that says, Hopkins is your first choice. If that is the case, feel free to apply under our early decision deadlines. You can ask me more about that as we proceed forward. Regular decision, non-binding agreements as well. We use both the Common App and the Coalition. We have no preference, whichever your school counseling team prefers. And then lastly, financial aid, just to close out. Thinking about financial aid, it's a process that became really, really strong for us in the last couple of years here at Hopkins. We were really buoyed by a massive donation from one of our alums, Michael Bloomberg, who donated $1.8 billion of his personal fortune to our financial aid process specifically. So again, an incredible sum of money that guarantees a number of things for you. One, we are need blind, so we aren't considering your need for aid in the process. Two, we are 100% need met, which means anything beyond your estimated family contribution, we cover entirely. And then lastly, we are a no loan school, so we do not offer loans as a part of our aid packages either. So if you have any questions about anything that we just talked about, I know that was a quick run through, feel free to reach out in the Q&A. Otherwise, I will drop my contact information in the chat as well. And we really appreciate you tuning in, and I will hand it off.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Maine Maritime Academy.
Thank you so much. Hey, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Allaby. I'm an admissions counselor at Maine Maritime. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen sharing. I'm really excited to tell you about the school. I'm originally from Indiana myself. I know that's not Illinois, but in many ways we're similar. So I get pretty passionate about getting Midwestern students out to enjoy Maine and out to a unique opportunity like what Maine Maritime Academy has to offer. I think this is definitely a school that is best served through some moving images. So I'm going to share with you a short video about our campus life, and the different programs that we offer. But definitely keep in mind we are a coastal school, and we are very focused on the maritime industry. Oh, you know what? Let me try this. This will make sure I share everything with you all. Okay. Here we go. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of a taste of what our campus is like. We got to take you onto our 500-foot long training vessel, the state of Maine. We got to take you into that engine room and let you see our ocean classroom that so many of our students get to take advantage of. The next thing I wanted to mention was just a little bit about our application process. So what we are looking for are strong math skills and strong science skills, being a STEM-heavy education. We're looking for 4 years of math as well as at least 2 of the 3 lab-based sciences, especially if you're going for engineering. We really hope that you've gotten physics under your belt. The next thing that I wanted to mention was when you get to the application process, if you are interested in Maine Maritime, like very many colleges, we're also on the Common Application. We'll have a look into your grades and the rigor of the courses that you've taken on your transcript, and then we require 1 letter of recommendation or evaluation. Additionally, feel free to submit that resume. We love to see what students have gotten up to outside of the classroom, anything you can think of from athletics to sports. Feel free to submit additional letters of evaluation, and we are remaining test optional for SAT or ACT. Keep in mind that early action regular decision deadline. So if you're serious about Maine Maritime, I especially encourage you to apply in the fall. Why not? What are you waiting for? And other than that, we are open for visits at this time. We do have our students on campus. You'll notice in that video, none of them were wearing masks, but we have been following those protocols throughout our last year. If you're interested, here's my email, elizabeth.allaby@mma.edu, and I'll go ahead and I'll drop that in the chat for you as well. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Glenville State College.
Okay, just 1 second. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Angelica, and I'm an admissions counselor here at Glenville State, as well as a recent graduate. I just graduated in December, so I'm very familiar with our campus. So as you can see here, these are our other admissions counselors. At the top, we have Lexi, and then in the middle, we have Ricky, followed by Larry. We're all here to help you guide you through the admissions process, and be sure that if you are interested in getting in contact with any of them, to take a screenshot of this page. And I'll also be putting a link to our admissions page in the chat. So here are a list of our academic programs. Currently, our criminal justice program is ranked #1 in the state and 14 in the nation. I was a criminal justice a major here. And I really loved how hands-on it was. They'll set up mock crime scenes, and you learn a lot of it through labs and stuff after your first year here. Glenville State was founded as a teaching college in 1872. So our education program is the longest program that we've had here with the most degree options. Our business program is one of the more popular degree pathways here. And if you're interested in music, we also have a 4-year degree in bluegrass music. For any music degree, we have the Pioneer Stage, which is located on Main Street, and students attend classes and jam sessions there. So that's something that's cool about that. And it's open to our community. We're a very tight-knit college here with everybody going on. With us being a very small school, you see a lot of that outside community conversation and connection. All of our programs here have a higher chance of job placement after graduation, and we offer 4-year, 2-year degrees and fully online degrees. And then on top of that, we have small classroom sizes, 17:1, and you get to know your professors on like a first name basis, and they're there to help you with anything you need whenever you need it. And we're having some exciting things happening around campus. We're partnered with Marshall University to provide students with 3 graduate degree programs. Within our master's degree programs of athletic training and accounting, you'll do the first 3 years here and the last 2 at Marshall. And the doctorate degree in pharmacy, you'll complete in the first 4 years here and the last 3 at Marshall. In addition to the new partnerships, we also are expecting a Barnes and Noble on campus, which is really huge because we don't have anything super close like that. Then we are a Division II through the NCAA and the MEC conference. You can see all of our athletic programs here. And so we have some of the higher facilities here, D1 facilities on campus. Our Waco Center houses our men's and women's basketball, our acro and tumbling team, our cheer team, boxing and wrestling. And in our Waco Center, we have a new weight and conditioning room, which is accessible to the public as well as our athletes. I'm trying to think. In addition to the Waco Center, we have the Sue Morris Complex, which has turf fields, and it houses our softball and baseball fields, as well as including the adjacent indoor facility. And the I.L. Moore Stadium is home to our football and track team. So the next step would be to apply and get connected with our admissions team. The website on the screen will take you directly to our online application. The application only takes at max 15 minutes to complete and is completely free if you use the code GOPIONEERS. Once you submitted the application, our admissions counselors will reach out to you throughout the whole process. Our admissions counselors will also let you know what documents you need to send in and how to do that. The FAFSA opens on October 1st. Listed above is the GSC FAFSA code, and we're currently test optional, so you don't need to take an ACT or SAT to be accepted. As you can see, we are one of the more affordable four-year institutions, both in-state and out-of-state, and the amount shown on the screen is per semester, and included are your housing, your meal plan, and your tuition. And then our campus is also currently open, so it's a great chance for you to come on campus for a visit, or you can complete a 360 virtual tour through the link provided on the screen. And then we also have open houses regularly, so that's also a great chance to get on campus and get a feel for what we have to offer. There's meet and greets with our academic departments, our athletic coaches and student organizations, and there's free food, so that's always a plus. And I just wanted to thank you guys for attending.
Thank you. Next, you'll be hearing from Champlain College.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Kingsley, and thank you all so much for joining us this evening. I'm glad to be able to share a little bit more about Champlain College with you. Just to go ahead and get started and thinking about where we're located, we are right in Burlington, Vermont, and our school has about 2,100 students, with the average class size being 16 to 17. A few things I want to make sure to highlight is Burlington has been named one of America's #1 college towns. We're really nicely located between Montreal, Boston, and Albany. So not only do you have a lot of life and opportunities right within Burlington, but you can easily get to other locations. The other thing I want to make sure to mention on this screen is in that top right corner where you see 14,000 plus students. We actually have a range of colleges and universities here in the area. So when school's in session, our students really get the best of both worlds by being able to branch out and get to know other students the same age as them, while still having that small personalized education experience. And it would not be a Champlain College meeting without talking about our upside down curriculum. So what this means is at Champlain, every single student starts in their major from day one on campus. So if you know exactly what you want to study, perfect hands-on experience all 4 years. You're in that major right away, building the skill set that you need in order to go out and get internship opportunities, and it confirms that you are in the right program for you. However, maybe you come to Champlain and you think you know what you want to study, but once you do have that experience, you realize it's not quite the right fit for you. This means that you can still change your major and graduate within that 4-year time frame, which definitely is something to keep in mind. However, if you're not quite sure what you want to study yet, that is completely okay as well. You can come to Champlain as an undeclared student and take a sample of classes throughout that first semester and even your first year until you select your major. Thinking about academic programs, we do have 4 different schools and divisions at Champlain. Unfortunately, we're not able to go over all of the different programs, but I would highly encourage you to go check out our Champlain website because we list the entire curriculum for every single major. A few things I do want to make sure to mention is we do have an entire school of business, a game studio, and a lot of different tech and education-based majors. So again, feel free to check out, either take a screenshot of this or go check out our website to learn a little bit more about all of the different programs that we do offer. And we know that when you are choosing a college, you are also making an investment in your future. So we want to let you know that for here at Champlain, a degree pays off. For the class of 2019, 88% of our students were employed or continuing their education within 6 months of graduation. However, the number that we are extremely proud of is out of the students who were employed, 100% of them were employed in a field directly related to their major or their career goals. And what this means is they didn't just have a job, but they had a job specifically related to the industry and the major that they went to Champlain for. And that just shows how everything from upside down curriculum to internship opportunities to hands-on experiences within the classroom prepare our graduates to take that next step immediately upon graduation. Thinking about the application process itself, we use both the Common App and the Champlain app. We read them the exact same way, and you do not have to pay any application fees. We also went test optional a few years ago, so you do not need to submit SAT or ACT test scores. When you are applying, you are automatically considered for merit-based aid. However, to be considered for need-based aid, we do need to have that FAFSA information on file, which goes live on October 1st every single year. I also want to mention that we have the Champlain Count on It guarantee. And what this means is any scholarships that you receive specifically from our institution will remain with you all 4 years, as long as you remain a full-time student. We also accept all outside scholarships and will not change our own institutional aid if you were to receive outside funding. Thinking a little bit more beyond the academics, I definitely want to mention that we have over 50 clubs and organizations and over 20 club and intramural sports teams that students take part in. Our students are extremely busy, and not only do they get involved on campus through these clubs and organizations, however, we were chatting earlier about Burlington, and they definitely love being in the area. So whether that is going to our esports team or having the opportunity with Ski and Ride to head out into the mountains and go skiing in the middle of the winter, we definitely embrace the fact that we are on campus in Burlington and in the state of Vermont. I also want to mention that all of our first-year students actually live in one of 20 restored Victorian mansions. So we are right in Burlington's historic Hill District, and that means we have integrated ourselves into the community by taking these old homes and restoring them and making sure they are up to code for 2021, but definitely each room has a unique charm and opportunity and sense to it. We do not require students to live on campus all 4 years. However, traditionally about 80 to 85% of students do choose to do so. And we also have some more contemporary styles as well that you can choose from if that's something you're interested in. And before I turn it back over to our presenter, I definitely would encourage you to get in touch with us and make sure to connect with Champlain. We have information sessions throughout the week. We also have a range of virtual options right now for tours and for being able to join us at open houses. This also includes a weekly series called Champ Chats, where it's hosted by at least 1, if not 2 admissions counselors. And we just talk about going through the admissions process, everything from how to make your college list and apply to tips for a great in-person interview or a virtual opportunity as well. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you. So I just want to invite everyone to come back on and do a round of Q&A. So in the same order that you presented in, just please share what advice you would give someone going through the college search process.
Sure. Yeah. So kind of advice I would give, and there's a lot of colleges and universities, they're all really different. So I would just try to start rounding it down on stuff like, do you want to be in a city? Do you want to be more on a rural campus? Do you want to be in a small campus environment, or do you want to be in a bigger school? So definitely round it down. And then a lot of schools now are starting to allow in-person visits. There is a ton of virtual ways though to learn more about every campus. So if you can't visit a school, after you round it down to a couple, I would definitely use all the virtual options that schools have.
Yeah, I think another one that I talk about a lot is just being comfortable asking questions. So I was a first-generation college student growing up. My family, I didn't have anybody in my immediate household who I could lean on for questions with any kind of real experience. So I think that was a huge thing for me, was just being comfortable reaching out to an admissions officer or to my school counseling team, and utilizing them as resources, and knowing that all of us that are, on this call right now, we all dedicate what we do to helping you. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you be in great places. And so that's why we do the work we do. And we really want to be able to help. So we can't do that unless you reach out. There were no questions in the chat tonight, and there were a lot of schools that talked about a lot of things. So if there are questions that people are curious about, still encourage you to ask them while we're here, but definitely going forward, something to really think about.
I think that's fantastic advice. In addition to the admissions counselors at different colleges, definitely be bold and speak with those guidance counselors. You have so many people that you probably don't even know about who want to see you find the thing that you want to do next, and we want to see you succeed. And we want this to be fun, which is pretty, kind of controversial. You probably don't feel like that yet, probably a little stressful, but we're here to help. So be bold, ask those questions.
I definitely agree with everybody taking advantage of those virtual opportunities that are posted and being able to get on campus and visit. I know personally I didn't visit campus before I came here. Luckily, I fell in love with my campus and I'm still here to this day. But yeah, and then I also was one of those kids that didn't answer the phone or didn't talk to anybody. So I definitely recommend reaching out to those admissions counselors and asking questions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything already. So what I would add to it too is when you're making a list of colleges right now, you have the opportunity to visit a lot of schools virtually. So definitely make a list of things that you're looking for in addition to your major, anything from the size, but also make a list of things that you don't want at a school. For example, I grew up in Northern New York, and when I was applying to schools, one of my non-academic requirements is there had to be snow in the winter, which is completely a random thing, but it definitely helped me realize what climate I wanted to go to. So as important as it is to know what you do want, also think about what you may not want and bring both pieces in as you go through this process.
Awesome. Well, we have enough time, so I'm going to ask another question. So if everyone could share their favorite event or tradition that takes place on their campus in the same order.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I really like that Wentworth does is at the very beginning of the year, the consortium that I mentioned, which is us, Mass College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, Mass Art, Manual College, and Simmons University, they're all in a row. But there's a big barbecue for all 5 schools, so you can get to know students from these other schools and check out kind of what clubs and other stuff are available for all the schools as a Wentworth student. So it's pretty cool social event that was canceled last year. So looking forward for that being back in person.
Yeah, I'm thankfully glad that ours was reinstated this year, albeit virtually, but at Hopkins, we have something that is called Lighting of the Quads. It happens traditionally at the end of your first academic semester, and at the end of every subsequent first academic semester every year. So to get ready for your first set of exams in the year, the night before final exams start, we have a giant celebration out on our main quad. The president comes out, normally gives a self-deprecating speech that is supposed to make fun of himself and make you feel a little better, a little lighter. Give out hot chocolate, donuts, things like that. Student groups perform. It's a really cool place to see your friends, and also, again, just try and relax before you head into that first day of final exams. It's a huge thing for us, and they call it Lighting of the Quads because in the month leading up to it, you see a lot of Christmas lights going on trees and on light posts, but they don't get lit up at night until Lighting of the Quads. And at the culmination of the event, the president has both ends of the electrical cord, puts them together, and then the entire campus lights up with fireworks, with an incredible light show. It's all very cool.
At Maine Maritime Academy in the fall, the Sunday before classes start, all of our students jump off the stern of our training vessel. So kind of right behind me, you can see that president goes off first, which is pretty exciting. And the students, whether or not they're getting those maritime licenses and who are doing this with the purpose of sort of that ocean emergency preparedness, all of our students, business, ocean studies, they all jump off, they take the plunge. metaphorically and literally, and it's pretty fun to watch. And we did do that last year. You're able to distance pretty well in rural Maine, so it works out.
So here, our sporting events are pretty huge, with us being a very dominant athletic school. So when homecoming rolls around for the football season, we'll have a huge parade. We'll bring members from the community. Even like my 2-year-old son was actually in our parade and was royalty here at our school. So it was a fun thing. Everybody lines up on Main Street and they attend the parade, and then they go to the tailgate, and then we get a pretty big crowd going for our football game, and it's a great time to just see everybody in one place. We also have a huge folk fest, which isn't really on campus, but with our community being so tight knit that it's kind of like a more of the county thing that everybody that's here goes to. And they'll be having music, there'll be food trucks, and it's just another big festival thing that we all go to.
So keeping with my theme of snow from the last question, being in Vermont, definitely one of the things we love being able to do is embrace winter. So one of the biggest clubs on our campus is actually Ski and Ride. And every single year we do something called Rail Jam, where we actually have all of our skiers and snowboarders come out onto one of our quads and they show off some of their really cool tricks. If you are not a skier or snowboarder, don't worry, it's great to watch and just have some hot chocolate on the side. And this all leads up to a big weekend of skiing. And we do actually offer season discounted passes to local area mountains for our students. So something they can enjoy all year, but that's kind of the kickoff to ski season in Vermont.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for sharing, and thank you all for presenting. When you go to close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for more. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording, as well as all of the other sessions recordings at strivescan.com/Illinois. So thank you, everyone. Bye.